Step 4 is picking a solution. Generally one solution. Have you brought your learners together though and said, all right, let's use some synergy. Bring your ideas together and we'll get a better idea. Yay, synergy. But really, they didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so they just piled their ideas on top of each other. And now the local food pantry, you're going to build them a website, you're going to start a newsletter, you're going to have a PowerPoint and a PSA that can go out to everyone. And you said, well, how'd you guys come up with that? Well, we just thought they were all great together. No, you didn't. You just didn't want any conflict. Let's figure that out today on PBL Simplified. My name is Ryan with Magnify Learning. Thank you for joining me today on PBL Simplified, where we address your PBL need-to-knows to simplify the PBL process for your classroom. The question of the day is, what's the silliest thing that's ever happened in your classroom? I, at one point, jumped out of a classroom window to go after a student. It was actually a positive thing. I just hadn't seen Carlos in a while. I was really excited. But today we're talking about step 4 of the PBL process. And we're following this great graphic that we have. It'll be linked down below in the description. And step 4 is where we pick a solution. And in picking a solution, we want to create a little bit of conflict here. We want to create a system where we really can come up with the best idea. Because that's when we talk about critical thinking, we don't want to just lump ideas together. When you come up with the best idea, some things need to fall to the wayside. So we need to help our learners with that. And one piece of scaffolding that we have is called the decision matrix. Again, we'll link it in below, but you can also see it here on the screen. And what you see with the decision matrix is you now have the opportunity to put everybody's ideas there, put it up against the rubric, not I like you or I don't like you, but put it up against a rubric and see what will give us the best solution. So here you can say, here are the different attraction ideas. So in this case, we're comparing attractions that we're going to add to this theme park. And you put everybody's ideas in there, 1, 2, 3, 4. But then across the top, you're going to put the solution criteria from the rubric. So of the 4 different ideas we have, which parts best meet the rubric? Right? Attraction 1 might do really well on sections 2 and 4 of the solution criteria, but maybe not so great on 1 and 3. And then attraction 2 might address the first section of the rubric really well. So now you have some reasoning, some quantitative ideas of why we should pick certain ideas over others, and likely some portions of different ideas to combine and which ones. And it's not because I don't like Ryan or like Ryan shouldn't get offended. It's more like, Ryan, you had a great idea. In fact, we're going to take your idea and we're going to pull part of it out for the third part of the rubric because you do a great job of that. And the way you use this decision matrix is you can actually kind of quantify all those different numbers. And then at the end, as you total those across, you can see which idea hits the rubric best. So now your learners should be able to speak to that. Our one solution that we're going to run with in step 5 is because when we analyzed everyone's idea and we looked at the rubric, this idea came out on top instead of just stacking every idea up on it so that we're doing everything, because that doesn't really work. That's not how it works in the real world. So this is a really fun step. You'll need to be involved in this because there will be a little bit of conflict. But if you can organize the protocol well, it will help your learners through this process. And when we talk about critical thinking, like how do you address that? This is really one of those big steps that will really, really help. Now you might be asking, Ryan, where do you get this great Magnify Learning swag? That's a great question. You should check out our swag shop. And it doesn't all have just Magnify Learning logos on it. You can get PBL for Life onesies, you can get a mug, you can get all kinds of great PBL gear so that everybody knows exactly how you're rolling. In the meantime, we want to help you engage your learners, tackle boredom, and transform your classroom.